Welcome into episode 14 of the Bleav in Twins podcast right here on the Bleav Network. I am your host, Anders Pryor, alongside world's biggest Power Rangers secret super fan, Zac Tipton.
You didn't really need to mention that one. I thought we had you don't think you need to mention that.
I thought that if you were going to come at me like for that, you were going to come at me right away. That's why that pause was there. I was like, oh, is this?
I was shocked that you mentioned it. That's like my super secret thing that no one knows about. I don't tell anyone about that. Well, now everyone knows. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, now everyone knows.
That's not. There's nothing bad. I was a huge. What was it? Dino Thunder. That's what it was called.
That was Dino Thunder. Yeah, 2004.
Dino Thunder. Dude, I watched Dino Thunder like all the time. That was
Dino Thunder was my favorite series of all time. Honestly, I've definitely not watched the entire series like 10 times at this point in my life.
Of course, that's a separate podcast.
Every year I have like a 1 month stretch where I watch every single Power Rangers episode from the first one ever to the last one ever. So it's fine. We're good. I'm not crazy. Maybe I am. There's definitely a case of that.
None of my like guilty pleasure, like watching things that are like kids stuff. None of them are like TV shows. They're all like movies. Like I still think there are parts of like the B movie that are still like genuinely funny with a lot of that like just neurotic like Jerry Seinfeld humor.
Yeah,
I will never hide. That's very public. I'm on the record for that.
It's fair.
So yeah, no, that's so sorry to out you.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll remember this, Anders. I'll remember this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Zach's gonna find something on me for next episode and bring it up. He's gonna find something, or maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll think of the most embarrassing thing that I like, and just tell you guys to open the show so that Zach can't have that win.
That's fair.
But we have a really cool opening segment for non-baseball today. Because not only is today National Pablo Lopez Bump Day, which is a very, very essential holiday for all of us, but the Vikings are 2-0, and which means that Zach's at an all-time high, or at a bigger high than any Twins win could probably provide us here. Sam Darnold looks like the player that I think all of the pro Sam Darnold scouting reports kind of pointed to him being. I think he's a really, he and, people like Geno Smith with Dave Canales and Baker Mayfield with Dave Canales, and, what Derek Carr is doing right now with Vikings legend Clint Kubiak, and now what Sam Darnold is doing with Kevin O'Connell. It's a really kind of, I think, important sort of indicator that how essential the right fit is, especially, there's only 32 teams. There's only so many situations that you can fall under. So I promised Zach that I would let him have as much time on this as he wants.
Oh, and trust me, I'm going to take it. I'm just kidding. I'm like extremely excited right now. The Vikings look phenomenal. Like, we knew their defense was going to be good. We knew the Vikings defense was going to be good, and they were going to win us some games. The question marks were always Sam Darnold. Let's be honest here. The question marks coming into this season were 100% on Sam Darnold, and maybe our cornerback play, because our cornerbacks are really young and we had some injuries there, and obviously the sad passing of Tyree Jackson, we were a little sad about. We were obviously not sure where we were going to be at with the cornerbacks. But Sam Darnold was the main question, and we knew Brian Flores would get the best out of his defense.
Yeah.
The question always was can Sam Darnold be a game manager? Can he handle it? And I think in 2 weeks so far, he's proven that he can. In 2 weeks so far, Sam Darnold has looked like one of the best QBs in the NFL so far in 2 weeks. Like he has just looked really good. Obviously, had that mistake though to Fred Warner, but also Fred Warner is just an absolute superhuman, and no one really understands how good he is until you watch him play. Fred Warner's a beast. I will say that. Shout out to Fred Warner.
No, that pick was just he can do that.
Yeah, only Fred Warner can do that, and it really is like he is just a different breed. But like I said, that throw on the 97-yard touchdown gets a lot of talking about because it was big play.
Sure.
And it deservedly so. Like, I mean, he put that thing as perfect as you can place a ball 50 yards downfield for Justin Jefferson. And just gave Justin Jefferson space to run. I thought he made a bunch of good throws today, though. And I thought he did a good job of that final drive without Justin Jefferson, with no Jordan Addison, with no TJ Hawkinson, with no Aaron Jones. All you really had was Ty Chandler, Jalen Naylor, Brandon Powell, and Johnny Munt. Those were your four guys. Those were the usual four guys we expected to be the Vikings receiving core after week 3. That to go down the field with those four guys and put yourself in a position to kick the game-sealing field goal. I mean, he made a laser throw. Like I'm gonna show a film room here. I know. Actually, I don't think I can here on this one. Actually, I can. We'll do it. One second. I'm gonna show. We're gonna show this one. 1 second. I'm gonna find this clip for you because I want to show this one. This throw was. Let me see here. Is this one I'm looking for? Yeah, this is the throw. Okay, I'm gonna share this one. We're gonna go with a. We're gonna show a throw here because this throw is absolutely incredible by Sam Darnold. To Jalen Naylor, who's. You can't place that ball any. You can't place that ball any better.
Yeah.
Like you can't place that ball any better. Shout out to Jalen Naylor for turning his body around and catching that. But you can't place a ball better than that. And I mean, what Sam Darnold was able to do on that last drive with no Jay Jettis, with no Jordan Addison, and no TJ Hawkinson, who obviously has been out for a while, is absolutely incredible. And I mean, just shows you that Kevin O'Connell is. I've seen a lot of people say Kevin O'Connell should be considered a top 5, for sure, top 7 coach in the league because of what he can do with QBs.
Right. He's one of those examples where, like, there are we have so many good coaches now where we've kind of done the thing with like really good defenses. Like what's happened, the way we talk about defense is the same way we sort of talk about coaches, where it's like where the list of like top 5 defenses is like 12 defenses long. Like there are, how many top 5 coaches are there? Probably like 12 of them. And I think he's an example of someone where, like, in order to move him up into that territory, you have to take down some people or notch down some people on the list that don't really deserve to be taken down, or it's just really difficult. But he is priming himself for becoming a coach of the year finalist. I think he's setting the table really early for that to happen.
Yeah.
I think he already had a little bit of an edge there, with the Hawkinson injury. I think that kind of set it early, and then the McCarthy injury on top of that. And so now you're
kind of forced to go with Sam Darnold, who I don't think you were expecting to really have to go with every week. But now you're kind of forced to go with Sam Darnold, and you have to make something happen with him, and he's making something happen with him. I mean, he's turning Sam Darnold into the QB that we all thought. And I saw a funny tweet, Anders, and you'll love this tweet. If Sam Darnold is able to complete this Geno Smith-like turnaround, the Jets franchise should be seized and desisted. The entirety of the Jets franchise should be seized and desisted because of how terrible they turned out with those QBs. But no, I just think, listen, I don't think we're like, obviously we're on a 17-win team, but to be like able to compete and beat teams like the Niners, and listen, I do think there's a part of us that I think we have the Niners number. I think there is a key for that. And I think Kevin O'Connell has like Kyle Shanahan's number because they are friends and they've worked so closely together for years. that I think they definitely is a knowledge there. I'm curious to see now that we're facing somebody that Kevin O'Connell really doesn't have any knowledge with, and D'Amico Ryans. Next week, I'm curious to see if this will continue and we can keep up with like a good team like the Texans now, who we're facing kind of an unknown team for us.
Right.
So I'm curious to see if that will stick up. But we'll see on that.
That's going to be a really interesting game with Houston not playing great against Chicago and still winning. That's one of the more interesting sort of matchups of the week. And it's not even necessarily that because we saw a couple times last year where San Francisco did sort of just implode on itself a little bit. It's not even that this necessarily happened. The Niners are one of those teams where they have these instances where guys are just completely almost comedically open, right? And they had a couple of those. I counted 2 times where Deebo Samuel was just there were 15 feet of room in either direction, and then Kittle on that one play down the sideline just totally missed pickup on the wheel route. And so it's not like they were totally inept offensively. They got some movement and they had some scheme execution that we see from them in games that they end up winning. But no, you're exactly right. This is a defensive group that lost a couple of important pieces in the front 7, and this is a secondary that.
And listen, I think I want to shout out one Vikings player if I'm going to shout out anyone, and he's a name that I don't think anyone's really ever heard of. His name's Patrick Jones II. For those of you who don't know Patrick Jones II is, which I'm sure is most of you, because I'm going to be honest, I barely knew Patrick Jones II was. I've only known him because I watched him get drafted. He was drafted in 20. I think he was drafted in 2021 in the 3rd round. As part of that class by Quessy that was considered one of the worst ever. He was part of that Vikings 2021 draft class that's considered one of the worst draft classes ever. What was that? Who was in that draft class? If you want to know who's in that draft class, I will tell you who was in that draft class. It was Darrisaw was the 1st round pick, which is a great steal for that.
Yep.
But after that, it was Mond, Chaz Surratt, Wyatt Davis, Patrick Jones, Kenny Nwangwu, Cameron Bynum, who is the only other really big starter from that. Janarius Robinson, Amir Smith-Marset, Zach Davidson, and Jalen Twyman. That was our draft class. And honestly, besides Bynum and Darrisaw, which obviously, if you get 2 starters of a draft class, that's a really big deal. Besides Darrisaw and Bynum, Patrick Jones, who came into the season as our number 4 D end, has 4 sacks this season, and is currently 2nd in sacks in the NFL. After having 2 last week and 2 this week. So shout out Patrick Jones on the defense there for stepping up and doing that. Jonathan Grenard's been great. Dallas Turner got hurt this week, but I think that shouldn't be a long-term injury from what I've seen. I'm excited about this Vikings defense. I'm excited about this Vikings front 7. I'm excited about just Brian Flores in general. And I'm really excited about Kevin O'Connell.
I liked Wyatt Davis when he was at Ohio State, and I think Amir Smith-Marset does have some talent. But on the whole, it's a very underwhelming class outside of Darrisaw, who's obviously now one of the top 10 players at his position.
And Cameron Bynum,
Although I think Darrisaw, he's the chip of that class.
Yeah, well, obviously he's our first round pick, and he's one of the best left tackles in football. But Cameron Bynum has been absolutely incredible for us.
That was the last, and if correct me if I'm wrong, that was the last draft class that they had before bringing in Odafo Mensah,
I think that was correct. I think that was Rick Spielman's last class. I'm pretty positive. Yeah, because Lewis Cine was that next year, and that would have been Questy's first draft.
Yeah.
Shout out that draft class for being one of the worst draft classes of all time.
Lewis Cine and then
Andrew Booth Jr.
Andrew Booth, who a lot of people thought should have been like, including myself. I'm going to be very guilty of that. A lot of people thought he should have been the first defensive back taken, and he ended up being like a total. That was a myth.
Ed Ingram is our starting guard, but he's really bad, so that's fair. Asamoah is not even there anymore. He was supposed to be really good. I was so excited about him, and he's not even good anymore. Caleb Evans, I think he's still on our team. I think so. Ty Chandler's the only other guy I think out of that I really recognize. And then shout out Jalen Naylor and Nick Muse rounding out the bottom two picks of those drafts. Nick Muse, special teams goat. He recovered the onside kick that won us.
Where did Naylor play at college?
That is a great question, Anders. I do not know the answer to that. I
recognize his name from.
He played at Michigan State, Anders.
Okay, got it. All right.
Naylor obviously has been really huge for us. He looks really good, man. Naylor looks fantastic early. And then Nick Muse has kind of just been a stalwart for us at like a number 4 tight end spot. He's been our number 4 tight end for the last like 3 years, and he caught the onside kick against the Niners yesterday that got us the win. So shout out to him for doing that. And also shout out to CJ Ham for the punt block. We always love a Ham God punt block. It was great. It was so cool to see CJ Ham getting in there and doing his thing. But yeah, no. So anyway, that's that. That is the Vikings this year.
That's Vikings talk. Hopefully, usually the segment is like just non-sport, like non-baseball stuff. But like we try to, if the Vikings or if it's whether it's the Vikings or like I think when we started this podcast that was like around the end of like the basketball season, so or even a little bit later. So we couldn't really talk about the Timberwolves, but we'll make sure like as this goes on, like to try and make the non-baseball segment as inclusive of Minnesota sports as possible, unless there's like a major scale thing. If pending something like that, we'll always make it, Vikings related, Timberwolves related, whatever it is. So
not Golden Gophers related because they suck. Sorry to all Minnesota fans for saying that. Minnesota is one of the worst teams I ever watched in my life.
I remember in like 2019, PJ Fleck was like a super trendy NFL head coach potential hire.
Yeah, I remember that. What times that was? What times that was?
It was like him and Matt. It was like him and Matt Campbell were like the two guys that everyone thought. Well, it was those three.
It was PJ Fleck and Scott Frost.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Scott. Well, sorry. No, Scott Frost never had coaching candidate, but like PJ Fleck, Scott Frost, and like there's another guy who were all hired like the same year. Who were all hired by their teams like the same year. And they were all like
was one. Matt Campbell, I thought had even more traction than
Matt Campbell had a lot. I was saying.
And then the third one, I was gonna say.
Lincoln Riley. Well, Lincoln Riley's always
Lincoln Riley. Yeah, I was gonna say like people were talking about Matt Rule pretty early.
One second here.
He was the one who.
I had blurry for like the last like 10 minutes. I feel like I have
maybe a little bit. Oh, we're getting.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm trying to adjust my camera. Let's see if that works at all.
There you go.
Hold on. Okay.
You're like almost there.
Hopefully this thing freaking works for a second.
We can't do Twins talk until Zach gets his thing figured out.
I don't know why it's so blurry. I might turn my camera, turn my light off to see if that helps at all with it. It never is displayed. This never happens. Only when like let's turn it this way. Maybe. Does this work if I turn it that way? No, not gonna happen. Now you can get it back. Oh, there we go. We're back.
Oh, there we go.
And you can see
Okay,
the Power
sweet.
Rangers poster behind me now.
Now we can do Twins talk. There
Now
we
you
go.
can see, now you can see the Power Rangers poster right
Yeah,
behind me.
there it is. Oh yeah. See, you couldn't have. See, you got on me for outing you at the start of the episode. We were all gonna find out eventually.
Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. Anyway, yes, let's get to the Twins talk.
Yes.
Usually we do a non-Twin segment here, but I told Anders I think we should skip the non-Twin segment and talk about one thing that needs to be talked about, which is how bad our 3 through 5 starting pitchers have been recently.
Before usually we try to either we just go game by game or we hone in on one specific game first that felt like particularly important. Here I'm kind of just gonna I have game by game stuff that I can segment us through, but I want Zach, because per his request, to kind of just have an open canvas to just mention in whatever order, because I mean most of my notes are kind of picture related anyway. So so yeah, no, Zach, the floor is yours basically.
Well, I think what needs to be really said here is, listen, the Twins have a really young core group of guys that will hopefully, and I mean hopefully, eventually take over a rotation spot in this team. The issue is, very simply put, they aren't ready yet. And it's just kind of becoming apparent. Like David Festa, Simeon Woods Richardson. Well, first off, Simeon Woods Richardson, I want to shout him out. He's been so good for us all year. But the issue with Simeon Woods Richardson is very much basically
No distance.
Well, right now I think it's, and I'm gonna say this because I think I kind of saw this. Simeon Woods Richardson is way higher in workload this year than he ever has been his entire career. Like, I mean, the amount of work he's been putting through has been, and I think at this point, I think he's just, honestly, I think he's running out of gas. I think that is legit what has happened here. I think Simeon Woods Richardson has ran out of gas. I think he's reached his high in workload, and I think he started kind of slowly diminishing from there because he's never pitched this much in his career. And I think that's the main reason why. So I'm going to give Simeon Richardson the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, he just needs a break. He needs to kind of have time. We didn't really give him that break because we needed him badly. And maybe an off season will help him. He'll come back out next year with maybe better stamina now that he's pitched this much, and come out next year being better. So I'm hoping that's the case. However, with Zebby and Festa, it's a little bit different because they haven't had the same amount of workload as those guys. Festa's just getting hit hard at this point. And Festa's at this point is a little scary. But Zebby is something I think we've got. I honestly think we might have rushed Zebby a little bit too fast, which kind of sucks. I wanted him to be so good right away. But I think we maybe rushed Zebby a little too fast here because we needed him. And so I expect Zebby will be possibly not sent down, but I don't think he definitely will be in the playoff rotation. I expect Zebby will start next season in AAA and get a lot of work in the minors before being called up again. And I honestly am considering maybe David Festa might be the same with that, because I look at it like I assume, to me, Simeon Richardson will get his spot back next year based on how good he's been for early in the year and stuff. I assume we'll come out and maybe start again next season. So my assumption right now is our starting rotation will be the usual: Pablo Lopez Bailey over Joe Ryan, Simeon Woods Richardson, and then a fifth starter who we will pick up. I assume we'll sign another starter and pick up a starter this season. The start. Or even trade for one. I think we need to obviously add another piece to that. And then we'll have those 5 until one goes down and we need to call Zebby or Festa next. Yeah. I think that's how it's going to work for us. And listen, it's just, unfortunately for Zebby, I love him so much. And this is Zebby Matthews fan podcast. But Zebby struggled, and Zebby has shown that he can be susceptible to not getting swings and misses. Really. And so I just need Zebby to kind of figure it out in the minors a little more before I really see more from him and hope that he can turn into it. Oh, breaking news. I think we have breaking news. Isaiah Pacheco is out 6 to 8 weeks.
I saw he was going out. I saw he was being put on IR. I wasn't sure what
with a fibula injury, 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Okay, that's the breaking news there. We're breaking a little news here on Bleav in Twins. But anyway, so yeah, back to Zebby quick. I just think Zebby needs a little more time to work on his stuff. Maybe go in the offseason, go work out and try to find a better, like a strikeout pitch, or find a better swing and miss pitch.
Yep.
His control is fantastic. Like, don't get me wrong, his control is fantastic, but the issue is
the control was the clear selling point when he was called up.
Yeah.
That has not disappointed. The things that we knew he was good at, he's been good at. It's just these, you can articulate it probably better than me.
No, like, honestly, it's just like there was a little scare that, listen, he has the good stuff, but his stuff was not going to translate to the majors yet. In terms of like getting actual people out and getting swings and misses and stuff, hasn't translated. And if you look at his baseball savant, I've looked at it a lot because I've wanted it to go up throughout his time here.
Mm-hmm.
His everything's bad besides fastball velo and his walk rate. His barrel percentage is bad. His hard hit percentage is bad. His ground ball percentage is bad. His strikeout percentage isn't good. His whiff percentage isn't good. His chase percentage isn't good. His average X velocity isn't good. Yep. His expected batting average isn't good. And his expected ERA is basically even worse than what is a little better than what his ERA is now. Like, his ERA is 7.1, but his expected ERA is 5.62, which still isn't good. But like
his whip is 1.66. Usually anything over like 1.3 is a cause for a little bit of panic. And there's a lot of
and it's just like the run value. Like, look at his run value. Like, his pitching run value is like -10 right now. It's just like he can't get people out, and he can't get out of innings. It's just unfortunate, but it's true. So I love Zebby. I will always be a Zebby fan. He needs to work on his stuff a little bit more. And he needs to go in the offseason to go somewhere and work on that pitching a little better, because he is there. He's there. Like, he will be a major league pitcher at some point, but right now it's a little early for that.
Zebby, like, it's a little hard. Number one, because like StatMuse there's some really specific stuff that I would love to get from StatMuse, like some rate stuff that they just can't do for whatever reason. I understand that even within his sample, it's a little small, but he's currently sitting at 13.14 hits per 9. And he's not, it's not like he's providing a ton of distance anyway. Like, if he, you could live with it, because sometimes like Ober, like even in Ober, some of the, Ober and Lopez really, like, if you go back and look at it, some of their best starts include like, somewhere between 6 to 8 hits allowed, right? So it's not like, but it's fine because it's there. Zebby, just innings per, like the ratio between hits per 9 and like innings per start, like the intersection is not there. And yeah, the run value stuff, I'm not sure if I have the same thing in front of you, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, the run value stuff, it's on top. I just look at the top of the
I see. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know if you were looking at a specific.
No, I was looking at that. I mean, his fastball is not good, his breaking is not good, his off speed is not good in terms of run value. And it's unfortunate, but that's how it is. And I will say, like, his cutter has good movement, his fastball is good movement, and then curveball sort of has good movement as well. So it's just like, I don't know, man. It's hard to like say, but like, I don't know, man. It's just his cutter does not have any horizontal movement at all. But that's fair. But no, it's just like I don't know. It's just weird, man. I don't see it. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what it is right now, but he is struggling. And at this point, I just think you have to let him go. They have to like let him go back to the minors and let him.
If you look at and again, like the some of the numbers are a little saturated because of the sample size one way or another. They're either like good beyond range or bad beyond range. But there's some really troubling stuff in terms of like if you look at like whiff stuff, K percentage stuff, like things like that. There's some really the numbers inside the zone are really hard to look at, and there's a big correlation between like the whiff percentage that he has and a lot of like the barrel rates of stuff. Like he's not getting swings and misses there really at all. But then if you correlate it to, and there's some really cool visual tools on Savant that you guys should definitely check out. It's not just that he's not getting swing and misses, but it's fine because like he's having breaking pitches that land in the zone, and then there's weak contact. Like his hardest pitches are like firmly in the zone, right? Like it's not like there's any kind of spin that can cause for getting on top of or underneath stuff. And yeah, so the stuff like it's there, but like there's just some location. There are some location things that for whatever reason is not great, and which it kind of sucks because his extension is not awful. It's about league average, which you wouldn't want it really to be league average because he is 6'5", so you'd like it to be a little better. But there are a lot of, when you really dig in, there's some troubling stuff there for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. It is unfortunate, but it is how it is this year for us. And unfortunately, it just means that we don't have a usual, like our pitching staff has really deteriorated right now. But no, on this point, oh well. I really don't know what else to say besides that. It is very disappointing that has happened this year, but I do hope in the future that he figures it out. And I just think that he needs to be sent back down to the minors or go somewhere, Driveline possibly, to go work on his stuff. Because I think he's got it. I think he's got a chance in majors with his control, but he just needs to officially like revamp his pitches, and improve his pitches a lot. Which hopefully he can do. But that's where I'm at there. No more on Zebby and that stuff. We got that all done. It is unfortunate with that, and it's unfortunate with Festa as well, because Festa has looked promising. Like there have been flashes of brilliance from Festa. It just has not been as consistent as you would hope. I mean, it's just not been. It is a little unfortunate there. But and then with the same position, like I said, I just think he's getting tired. I think he's officially like gassed at this point in the season, which sucks, and you kind of wish it wasn't the case. But on the other hand, you have to give him like a lot of credit. Like he's pitched way more than he's ever pitched in his career this year, and he's been huge for us this entire season. So, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and just say, listen, it was just a rough time. But
Sure.
I mean, yeah, it's just hard when you look at Festa, man, because Festa, he's had flashes of really good games, but it just is, he hasn't been able to consistently keep it up. And then, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, we're being very, very patient with those guys, and we're being not patient. We're being very, very like aggressive in pulling those guys when we need to. Pulling those guys way earlier than most times they probably would get pulled. But I guess we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Right now, the Twins are in a fight for their lives for a playoff spot this year. And with that, I would like to talk about this Red Series a little bit because, again, it was a very disappointing. 1 second.
Yeah, no, a lot of the stuff that you had mentioned really, I think, kind of materialized here with games 2 and 3. Richardson, lack of distance continues to be inefficient. Festa, I thought was fine, but again, like there's this worry, where we see him get to 70 pitches through 3 innings, and then because of that pitch count, he essentially has to play perfect baseball from that point. He essentially has to pitch perfectly from that point. And so the leash gets like really tight. And that's a theme that we continue to see. Where even if with Festa, we see it with Festa, we see it with Woods Richardson, those two guys particularly, where even if they are not, even if they're fine in terms of how many hits they give up, how many runs they give up, like the pitch count stuff is so troubling in terms of just effectiveness, in times through the batting orders. And so the whips become a problem. And I was trying to I couldn't find it. I don't know why StatMuse won't show me this. But one of the things that I was really curious to see, and maybe there's another public interface or public model that Zach, that would have this. But one of the things that I really want to see, and we'll get this if we can for next episode, but for Woods Richardson and Festa, their pitches per at bat. That would be some data that I would really like to see if we could, because I don't know how to get it on Savant, and StatMuse is just not giving it to me. But that would be something that I would really, where they're not finishing the job when they get into full count or into 2 strike counts.
Let me look here.
Which for Festa, that was the thing. Like we were like, oh man, like the slider, like first it was like the slider was like this crazy, the slider was this like killer swing and miss pitch. And then we were like, oh, a little too predictable. And then boom, changeup comes in. Now he has 2 options. And so it's like, oh man, he's just going to be impossible to fully navigate, and it's going to create distance. So I thought, if anything, that his distance was going to go up. It's actually depleted since those first couple starts.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I'm looking at Fangraphs. I wonder if Fangraphs could possibly tell you, but I do not know the answer to some of this. I'm looking at it now, but we will. But I feel like Fangraphs might be able to tell us at some point. I don't know where to even go on Fangraphs. So
right.
But I don't know. At this point, Woods Richardson, yeah, like I said, I think he just gassed. And then with Festa, I don't know, man. It's rough. But with that, we go to the Red Series here, and like I said, we were talking about the Red Series there a little bit, but it is not pretty. It is very much not pretty how this has gone so far. If you look at, we lost the series versus the Reds, which is kind of sad considering I think, we may or may not have predicted them to sweep possibly, or at least for sure win 2 out of 3. But that loss in the first game was really hard to see, and I saw another stat here, and so I don't want to give all the hate to the Twins bullpen, to the Twins starting rotation, because the Twins bullpen deserves a similar level of hate right now. If you look at a stat, I saw the stat. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Where am I at with this? The Minnesota Twins relievers have allowed an MLB high 45% of inherited runners to score. Which would be the highest rate of any MLB bullpen since 2003. Basically saying, when we are bringing pitchers in with guys on, they're going to score, basically.
Right.
Which is not what you want to see. 1 second. Okay. Oh, 1 second. Which is not what you want to see. Sorry. Which is not what you want to see. But it's just unfortunate right now. And it's just like it's so hard to watch because it's like you want this team to be good, you want them to succeed, and instead we're sending out guys who just can't get the job done. If you look at the Reds game specifically, I want to look at the Reds game here quick. Give me a second here. Let's go to the Reds box score here. Let's go to this game. Over allowed 5 earned runs, but I'm pretty positive most of those are in run. Like besides the homer in the second, I mean most of those runs were in the sorry. I mean most of those runs were in the 6th or in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Over already made it through 6 innings, and he had they tried to give him another inning, which is actually like a really solid outing. Like all he said, like all I mean is he allowed 1 run in 6 innings, and then he gave up a bunch in the 7th. So it just is unfortunate. And then you bring in Alcala, who's been, frankly, Alcala's been really bad recently. If you look at Alcala's game log, I mean, you're basically looking at a guy who is in his last 7 starts, he's given up a run in 4 of them. And he's given up 5 runs in the 8th start before that. So it just, since that really bad outing where he had 5 runs in 0.2 innings, he's been really kind of off. And I don't know. We'll see if he turns out if that's that. But what a great sentence I just said there. And that's that for that. What a great sentence I just said there.
I'm gonna write that down.
And that's that for that. No, it's no. So it's an unfortunate there, and then losing the second game, game 2, which kind of was expected loss. We kind of assumed Rhett Lauder would torch us, and boy did he, Anders. Boy did he. Or was not the Rhett Lauder game? Was it? No, Rhett Lauder was the last game.
No,
Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez torched us. That's
Zach and I got the exact. We literally said we're going to win the first 2 and lose the last. We lost the first 2 and won the last.
Yep. Nope. That we were completely wrong.
No, Lauder. Well, we'll get to Lauder in a second, but we got to talk about the second game.
No, dude. Louis Varland, Anders. Do you want us to go? Do you want to start this? Do you want to start the Louis Varland talk here?
Oh, I would. It's who is it? Like I'm gonna lose my mind talking about this. We could play a game where like I could literally set up a stage for you where we're in like a critical playoff race. We are going against an out of division opponent where we have so much more to lose than to gain, and we're in a semi tight matchup. Where excuse me, I'm on the wrong bit here. Where we lead, I just want to make sure that I have the right numbers in front of me. Where we lead where we get to what? Am I looking at this correctly? Yes, I am. We get to the 4th inning because it's a 1-0 game. Switch pitchers, and it's 1-0, and then just a disgusting Louis Varland. Like I'm actually kind of I have notes, but I can't even use them because I'm so distraught. I'm almost a little upset look at the Savant. His whip's a 179. But it really sucks because the curveball from a velocity standpoint is like awesome. But then I'm trying to get the visual pitching models in front of me. And yeah, there's no control. It's just all over the place. Like if you look at the standard Arsenal cast, it's gross. Look, not gross as in like filthy, like good. Gross as in like someone please clean this up. And I'm trying to find the more kind of succinct model. Excuse me. If I go to visuals. And I go to here it is right here. I might share my screen. I'm going to share my screen with you guys.
Oh man, we're gonna share screen here. Love that.
I think so.
The issue is with Louis Ballin is what you are to show is him as a starter, not versus him as a reliever. Because him as a reliever is different than him as a starter.
Well, sure, but I can see all the pitches here. All pitches in the game. I'm actually not sure. Am I able to share this like succinctly and have it look like what it's supposed to look like? No.
Just try it.
Oh, let me try here.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We're trying out new stuff on our show. We like it.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work, but then we're gonna. It'll. Wait. No. Present. Hold on. Share screen. There we go. Yeah, here we go. So this is the modeling of, you see there the cutter, and just the amount of, like if you go to, hold on, let me just get the walk number in front of me. Will it show me the walks? That's the thing. Is like that's this was one of the things that I've written down. He has one walk. Like if you just look at the cutter and like how much of it is like trying to, clip, like a lot of it are like zone clipper stuff or like, that sort of range where it can go either way. I'm trying to think of the correct terminology to Zach, what's the range that I'm thinking of? Not the edge of the zone, and not like the width. Not even the heart. God, what the geez. I feel
I don't know your answer. I don't know what you're looking for. I really don't.
I will stop this thing until I am going to stop this broadcast. This is not even a broadcast. Until I need to find not the heart. I'm still sharing this correctly.
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Yeah.
Just want to say that.
Excuse me. This is not even close to. I can't find the tool that illustrates the thing that I want to illustrate. But like that edge of the zone, excuse me. He only allowed one walk. That's the crazy part when you look at this. Like a lot of like his velocity sort of base stuff.
Yeah.
It's the shadow of the zone. The shadow of the zone. That's okay. That's what I'm thinking of.
I would never have gotten there. I would never have gotten there.
I just looked at a different part of the interface, and it had it in it. That was one of the indicators. The shadow of the zone. He's attacking the shadow of the zone, and with a lot of his sort of velocity dependent stuff, and he got one walk. But what that means, right? Because his cutter. Is obviously the four-seam fastball is average in terms of velocity. The cutter is probably no, I'm saying that correctly. His four-seam fastball is way above average. It's elite in terms of velocity. The cutter is a little above average, but not great. But it's not, from a shape standpoint, it's not a below average pitch, or at least it shouldn't be. But if you look at this if you look at that, like there's 6 hits there. No, excuse me, there's five hits and 6 runs there. And he can't bait guys with like the cutter. Like it's not effective. And I am trying to, I have like 6 different Savant tabs open, and they're all attached to like different parts of the interface. So I apologize that I'm not doing a great job of navigating all of them.
Yes, no.
But he should, but he's relying on pitches where, like, you should be, it's walk and strikeout, right? Like he kind of he's supposed to be like leaning into this stuff of like, like we use the phrase like 3 true outcome baseball. And if you can't, it's, you get a couple walks, but then you get a strikeout. So, double plays are not as, you can, luck into one every now and then, maybe, hopefully, if even if your arsenal is not lenient to that. But he can't even do that. Like he's just getting hit. Like it's high velocity and he gets hit. So which obviously leads to even more damage. It's really bad. The point that I'm making is that he sucks and he should not be in the majors. That's the point that I'm
making. Well, I appreciate that for finally coming out. I'm not gonna lie. I agree.
I know you agree with me.
I agree. There's a lot less rows I would have gone on there to show that he sucks. Specifically, just looking at the fact that he had 6 runs to the Reds in 1 inning. Running in a relief work. Which is where I was going with that. But yeah, so that's unfortunate. That was an unfortunate loss. And then the win. Shout out the win, man. It's hard to like a win after that bad of a series. Right. But like that win did feel good to at least get a win. We thought Red Lottery was going to destroy us, and we honestly did. We only had 1 run off of him until the 6th inning, where we got 2 runs that took the lead, and then we never looked back. But I will say, shout out to the bullpen on Sunday for not blowing it. Specifically, Ronnie Henriquez is going 1.1 innings. And then Cole Sands, I feel like we haven't talked about much because Cole Sands really hasn't had the chance to pitch recently because we haven't had the lead in a while. Cole Sands went 2 innings of 3 strikeout work. Shout out to him again. And then Alcala bounced back there and got good 2 innings of no run ball as well in that one. And the Twins won. It was a big win, 9-2. Big win there. Because we needed to keep a win there, especially when we were looking at the Tigers, who are only 2.5 games back. But with that, Anders, with all that being said, I think we need to look at this Cleveland Guardians schedule and look at this Cleveland Guardians series and predict it, because we are reaching, we're at 52 minutes already. So let's we'll move this along kind of quickly. Very simply put, I'm going to say we split. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say we split because we have Pablo and Bailey both pitching in the series, and I say we split. I say we split. That's it.
I don't know. God, yeah. No, Lopez, obviously, I will just continue to chuck Pablo Lopez starts as wins until further notice. I think, in Ober, I trust. I think, Tanner Bybee, again, we've talked about it. Like, he's good, but he hasn't taken that sort of next sort of even just like half step that we thought he was going to. And then I think those are definitely wins. I do not think Gavin Williams is very good.
But I also don't think Zebby Matthews is very good.
I don't think he's very good either. So that will be I think that could be.
No, one of these games we will get like completely surprised by a bad pitcher who will just take us down, and I could see that being a game that happens. We get like blown out in that game.
Right.
So yeah,
No,
I'd say there is a chance on Thursday is Simon Woods Richardson and the bullpen, the right bullpen guys, come up and do something. There's a chance to win that one because Cantillo's not good.
Yeah.
Joey Cantillo is not good. There is a chance that we can win that one. Get the 3-game win.
So I'm not sure there. I cannot. There's the right now. There's very little room for error with the bullpen, and I do not trust Woods Richardson at this point to go long enough to a point where we're because if we start Woods Richardson, it's essentially guaranteed that we're going to have 4 different bullpen arms go in the game at least. And
yeah,
I am going to assume at this point that one of them will do something disastrous. And so I don't think we're going to win that game. I do, however, think that for that second game, there is a real chance that Zebby Williams has a bad start and we win anyway. Because I think that Gavin Williams.
You said Zebby Williams.
Sorry, Zebby Matthews. I think Zebby Matthews has a bad start, but we win anyway. Because I do think, because Gavin Williams, his barrel stuff is like his barrel ratings are terrible. He throws really fast, and as a result of that, everything is fast. All 5. He's not a true 5-pitch guy. And he's really like he throws his fastball half the time, and then like curveball, slider, cutter, changeup. They're all pretty kind of spaced together in terms of what comes second after that, but they all move insanely fast. But
yeah, no, I agree.
But he walks way too many people. I think Zebby is awful against a deep Cleveland lineup, but we win anyway.
Okay, I like your thing. So are you saying we win 3 games? Or are you saying we win 2?
I'm going to say we win 3.
Wow, okay. I'm saying we win 2.
Okay.
Simply and I usually am the optimist here. I'm supposed to be the optimist, Anders. What am I doing? What are we doing here that I'm not the optimist right now? I say win 2. Simply because even if we were to win that Zay Matthews start, I just feel like our bullpen would blow the freaking Bailey over start for some reason. I just have a bad feeling our bullpen's going to blow either like Pablo or Bailey's start. So like even if we win one of those crazy Zebby games or Simon Richardson game, I feel like our bullpen's going to blow it one of the Pablo or Bailey starts. So I'm going to say win 2. And it's kind of unfortunate I'm believing that, but it is how it's going to be. And so yeah. We will see. Hopefully Anders is right and I'm wrong, but I can't put a lot of faith in this team right now because we don't look like a team that deserves to be in the playoffs. And so I feel like we need to show this series that we are, but we haven't really looked like that in a while. So we got to figure something out quick. And then, yeah, with that, that's really it for the show. Shout out Sam Darnold. Shout out basically none of the Twins pitchers. And then shout out Brooks Lee for getting a hit. I think he got a hit in one of those games.
Yeah.
So shout out that. We'll go that.
I've had a nice couple series now.
Yeah. So and then shout out Carlos Correa and Byron Buxton for coming back. I think Byron Buxton had a hit or like had a did he have a homer or did he have like a RBI in like his first game back? I think it was.
It wasn't a multi-hit game. It was a hold on. I need to make sure.
Because it was that second game versus the Reds, I think, is when he came back.
Right.
Yeah, he had an RBI single in the first, which was our only run scored.
Yep.
He had an RBI single in the first. So shout out to Byron Buxton for
welcome
back. Welcome back. We have Carlos Correa and him back, which is crazy to say. I did not think that would be happening. Very soon like this, but I'm happy to have them both back, and I'm happy to have Margot back, and I'm happy to have some offensive pieces back. I would really wish we could have some freaking pitching pieces back, but that's not going to happen. So, yeah, no. So, unfortunately, this Twins team looks rough heading into the playoffs. So, if we do make the playoffs, and obviously there's still a long ways to go, we're only 2.5 games up on the Tigers and the Mariners. There's still a long ways to go. But if the Twins do sneak in the playoffs, I'm not confident we even have a chance of winning a game. But we'll see. Yeah, when that time comes. But Anders, would you like to sign us off here to finish this one off?
Of course. How could I not? Well,
I'm excited.
I hope so. I mean, no, everything you're saying is true. This is a bad time. You know, the patience of this young core with the pitchers has been a theme of the show, and now we're seeing a little bit of an uglier side to it. But if we're gonna if it's all gonna kind of circle, and this is the right time to do it, especially when the Guardians have looked a little vulnerable. So we're gonna be optimistic. Hopefully, I'm right on my prediction instead of Zach. I'm sure Zach is hoping for that too, as he said. This has been episode 14 of the Bleav in Twins podcast on the Bleav Network. Alongside Zac Tipton, I have been Anders Pryor. You can listen to this podcast and all other Bleav Network media on the BleavNetwork.com website by downloading our content and all other content that you consume throughout the week. If you can listen to us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and wherever else you get your audio sports media. If you are watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and turn on post notifications. Hello. Nice wave there from Zach.
Thank you.
If you're just listening, then that might have sounded weird. But subscribe and turn on post notifications so that you know when we post content on Mondays and depending on when the Twins play, Thursdays and Fridays.
Yes.
Go Twins, go Vikings. Shout out Byron Buxton, shout out Sam Darnold, all the good stuff.
I will also say,
yes,
we will be posting more NFL stuff on our other podcast, the Nerds Doing Sports, also on YouTube. So if you guys want to check out more of our content, we do a full NFL, college football podcast, and other sports when they come around. On our other show called the Nerds Doing Sports, that link is in the bio. Please subscribe to that. Please listen to us there. We love talking about the NFL. We love talking about the college football as well. So just subscribe to us there. So, yeah.
Big time. 100%. Yeah, no. Go check out everything, guys. Great episode. We'll see you guys next week to recap this series. And Zach, signing off. Great to see you as always.
Great to see you.